I believe we all can do money better. That's why we have CFO and financial management leader Toki Simmons with Handle My Books joining us today with some tips and some more information because, again, we could all do what? Money better. Well, Toki, thank you so much for joining us today. We're going to be talking about hustle hers and women as breadwinners. So talk about that.
Well, first of all, we know that, some time ago, as women, we weren't even allowed to work, right? So it's important today that we kind of take a stand and do what it is that we want to do. We have a lot of us that are passionate about the things that are within us, regardless what that is. And so I encourage women to get outside the home, not only to work, but to start your business, right? Become a hustle her. And so women as breadwinners, when I think about that, I think about the fact, using my own story, the fact that I had to have a husband who was agreeing to me for me to get outside the house and do what it is that I do best. Yes, I am the breadwinner, and he's okay with that. He has become someone that I can lean on in terms of the things that we need. And when we think about like the husband and the wife switching roles, we tend to think that they are no longer providers and they're no longer protectors, and that's not the case. Me being the breadwinner, he's still my protector, right? He's still my provider, but in other ways. And I just believe that it's okay. It's okay for women to be breadwinners today. We can get outside the home and do our own thing, or work from home, right? And do our own thing. I think it's important. I think it's important for us to have a voice. I think it's important for us to find our space at the table today. I think it's important that if inside your household that you are the one that's the breadwinner and your husband agrees to being the one that handles other roles, that's your house. You do it the way that you see fit and what works for you. I just think that in today's society in 2024, I just think that is something that we can easily do. We are smart, we're knowledgeable, we're strong, we're powerful, and I think that people need to see that.
Absolutely. And Toki, as a female in a male-dominated industry, what are some of the challenges that you've had to face?
Well, as you know, I do sit on a lot of boards for nonprofits. I sit in the space of CFO and treasurer, and a lot of times that opportunity came to me because there were other females sitting on the board or working within an organization where they felt bullied, where they felt they weren't being heard. And so I was literally asked to come so that I can generate a larger number for us as women being at the table. I've had clients who were working at organizations who haven't had any pay increase. And when it was time for us to sit down and work out what that would look like and what it was for them to present to whomever was the head person in charge, they were met with resistance. And however, you would get the same male counterpart that would come and ask for something tremendously more, and it was met without opposition. And I felt that it was necessary for me to not only sit in that space, but to recognize that this was not an isolated incident. Now, let me say that this is not a blanket statement. It doesn't happen everywhere. But again, it's also not an isolated incident because it's happening in so many places. I've had EDs, executive directors, who were females, part of organizations that would call me after hours crying because they were sitting in boardroom meetings and being bullied. And so they would be crying, saying that I'm trying to explain to them that there's a lot on my plate, they're not understanding, they just keep piling it on so that I can fail, right? And so I said, you know what, I'll show up. I'll be part of the conversation now so that you're not in that space alone. And I would get the response, thank you so much.
And I would like to believe that you've used those experiences as fuel to help empower other women that are entrepreneurs as well. So talk about empowering other women in their roles.
Sure. So again, it's the reason why part of when my clients sign on with me, it's important for me to become their right hand and confidant. We don't really know what that looks like until we get in the midst of working together. But then when they are met with these types of challenges where they're going into male-dominated fields where they need to present contracts or pitch their product or whatever it is, they know that they have someone that's strong, that's able to come in and stand with them. Not only that, but that we have solid ground that we're coming in with, right? Because the contract is tight, the pitch is tight, you know, the spending plans are tight, anything that they ask for, financials, all of those things are on point. And so they can walk in there with their head high and not walk in there alone.
Absolutely. And there are also benefits of being a woman in business. Talk about the grants and some of the opportunities that are available.
Sure. So there's plenty out there specific to not only Black owned, but being a woman entrepreneur. So there are plenty of opportunities just being us as women, being women of color. There are opportunities out there for mothers. There are opportunities out there for people who are of an older age that have gone back to school. So just being a woman, you have plenty of opportunities that we can tap into.
I love it. Well, Toki, thank you so much for joining us today. Tell our viewers how they can get in touch with you.
Oh, easy. So you can find me on Facebook at Toki Simmons. You can find me on LinkedIn at Toki Simmons. Or you can email me at cfo@handlemybooks.net and also my website, tokisimmons.com.
Awesome, Toki. Again, thank you so much for the Toki's Tokens. We'll have more details on our website, sodacityliving.com.